Oh, it's that time again. It's 2K Kingslayer, aka 2KK, back again with another NBA 2K19 video here in the 2K film room, where we break down various offenses. And today we're going to be looking at a series. And this particular series is called the Chest Flare series. I'm going to explain what that means in just a minute. So first, let's go over the agenda for today's video. So first, I'm going to explain the primary action of the chess series. Every series has a primary action. I'm going to break down the offense in the 2KU scrimmage mode. I'm going to show a gameplay mixtape of this working online against human opponents. And then I'm going to give my final thoughts and grade of the overall series. Alright, so before we get into the primary action, a reminder, what is a series? A series is a set of similar plays that trigger automatically once you call them. It's basically a scheme of several plays that look similar to each other and adjust based on how the defense is playing you. So another reminder how to call a series. What you're going to do is you're going to press right on the D-pad. You're going to see that menu pop up. Then you're going to press triangle 2 times and then scroll with L2 and R2 until you get to the specific series that you want to call. Alright, so let's jump into the primary action here. So here's what it looks like. It starts off kind of like the horn set where you have 2 guys at both elbows, but what differentiates this one is that in the Chest Flare series, there's always going to be a screen from one elbow to the other. So let's go over some of the different variations you can get from this series. Here's one example. It's called Cut Chest Flare, so let's take a look at that in the 2KU scrimmage mode. So there's that primary action. I'm going to swing the ball. Then there's a screen. You have 2 options, and that time DeAndre Ayton knocks it down. Let's show that again, but we're going to use the other option this time. This is the same cut chest flare play. This time we get it to the man who's cutting, and Isaiah Cannon knocks it down. So one more time in slow motion. There's the primary action that pops up in all of these plays. And that time, instead of getting it to Ayton, we find Isaiah Cannon knocking it down. So let's go now to Fist Chest Flare. There's a couple different variations of this play in itself, but I just want you guys to get the gist of how this goes. So we're going to swing the ball to the wing. Double screens here. We go around and put it in. That kind of looked a little bit like one of those horns double drag options that we went over a few videos ago. So you can see this time Devin Booker getting inside past the double picks. Now let's look at another variation of that same play. This time we swing to the side, but there's no double picks. Ryan Anderson gonna come up. Booker comes around. Oh, throw it down, young man. Let's slow that one down. So there's the primary chest flare action. Gonna have the opportunity right here to get the ball to Devin Booker. He's not open for 3, so he cuts. And oh my goodness, he just victimizes that Cleveland defender. Here's another option, quick chest flare. And that says 3. Like I said, there's a few different variations of each one of these, but I just want you guys to get the general idea. So this time, check this out. Booker, bada bing. Let's slow that one down. So as always, there's that initial action. We swing the ball to Ryan Anderson, get it into the post. Double screens on the outside. Booker knocks it down. That's probably my favorite action out of all the chest flare ones. But here's punch chest flare. If you guys see the word punch, you know that means that the play is going to end in a post-up. So, here we go. Booker inside gets post position. And we get a unique guard post-up play. Booker takes advantage. So not a lot of plays in the game get you guards posting up by default. But this one does here, so kind of a unique one. Like I said, Booker gets inside, posts up, and he's going to take advantage. I also do want to note you can get an ISO option out of the Chest Flare series, but I don't want to show that because it's an ISO. It's pretty straightforward, so I'm not going to show that. But yeah, so you guys can see there's a lot of different ways to score with this. We're going to show the gameplay mixtape in just a second, so you guys can see how this works online against human opponents. But before we do, as always, I'm going to ask you guys to please hit the like button and the subscribe button if you want to support my channel, which is still very much a growing channel. I really appreciate that greatly if you guys would do both those things for me. Thank you very much. So without further ado, let's jump right into the gameplay mixtape against online opponents. And after that, I'll give my final thoughts and grades. Enjoy, y'all. Alright, y'all, so there it is, the Chest Flare series. Like I said, it gives you a pretty decent number of options, but right now what we're going to do, as always, is I'm going to give you guys my final thoughts and my overall grade for the series. So let's jump right into it. Alright, so let's take a look at the strength of the Chest Flare series. So what you're going to have is that your point guard or your primary ball handler for this series is going to end up cutting to the basket quite a bit. and you're going to end up with a pretty decent amount of layups and dunks as a result. Catching and shooting occurs also out of this quite a bit, so especially with your stretch power forward, who's going to come off of that initial chest flare screen. A lot of times they'll be open, sometimes they won't, but they're going to be touching the ball in pretty much every one of the options within this series. And then finally, there's a surprising amount of post-passing opportunities, so with quite a few of the options within the chest flare, you do get the ball down into the post, but then you can post up from there, but there's usually another option to pass out of that, whether it be to your point guard or another guard that's open. So let's jump into the weaknesses. So you don't get a lot of corner threes out of this one, and I mention that as a weakness because corner threes are the best threes that you can get in the game, and the options for that are not really here. Your guys kind of start off there and end up there a lot of times within the actions of the chest flare series, but they're very rarely open unless a defender comes over to help. So in my experience of playing like 5 or 6 games using this, I didn't get a lot of corner threes. And also not a lot of scoring options, and by that I mean it's really just going to be your primary ball handler, usually your point guard, and the stretch power forward that's scoring. So you're going to kind of be leaving out a lot of the guys on your team. And that's why, as a result, recommended lineup build, I have really just a shooting point guard and a stretch power forward. That's really what you need for this. Now it leads me to my overall grade, B- for the chest flare series. It's a decent series, but like I said, you really only end up with 2 guys scoring that consistently, and as a result, not my favorite series. Still pretty good though. Anyway, if you guys enjoyed this video, please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. I'll be back very soon. Until next time, happy gaming, y'all.